What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today we're going to be taking a look at Great Exkizer from Kotobukiya. Now this is the gold-plated version. They talked about this one in a lot of the announcement videos I made last year, and it took a little bit for me to get it in. And now I've had it for probably about a month or two, but I hadn't built it yet. So we're going to take a look at that today. So we're not going to waste any more time. Let's go. So let's take a look at some of this gold real quick. I just wanted to see how it actually turned out. Now, this is definitely really good gold chroming here. I would say this is what I imagine gold electroplated looks like to me. It has that very shiny gold. Now, there is something that I see that may be an issue, and what that is that these are not undergated. So you may get a lot of nub marks on this. So hopefully you got a metallic gold marker around somewhere. So you got that. We just want to take a look here. So you've got the feet. Looks like you got the feet here. So it does look good though. It looks like Kotobukiya did a really good job. So I'm not gonna go through all of these. I just wanted to kind of show you what it looked like there. So of course you got the small Exkizer sword there. So you've got that there. Looks like you've got golden archery here. You got the hilt for the Exkizer sword there. So you've got all of that. So it does look really, really good, I must admit. So it's been a while since I've made a electroplated or a chrome style kit. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how this actually turns out. Let's see. Here we go. This is the big version of the Exkizer swords. So that looks very, very good. And since I do have the original, even though that was one of the few reviews I have not released, I shot it last year, but never actually released it on the channel. So I may do that, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But it looks like, let's take a look at the joint stuff, because with this, I remember when they announced the gold version of Great Exkizer, they said that they didn't do everything in pure gold because they wanted a little bit of contrast. I'll be interested to see how that actually turns out on here, because it's just the regular gold. We saw this with Golderon, so I don't think that this will be an issue, but it'll be interesting to see the contrast between the gold plated and the regular color. So that's what we've got there. Let's see, what else does it come with? It comes with the manual here. So of course we'll be taking a look at that here. But so that's what we've got that's in the box. So let's take a look at the manual next. So let's take a look at this manual. So of course this has the great box art. Kotobukiya, I love their box art for Brave. It's just amazing. So of course this is the cue card or whatever if you need to order parts. Now for us in the United States, unfortunately, this does not work. If you remember when I did the Dino Geist review, I had a problem with the hands, and so I wanted to order another one. So when I emailed Kotobukiya in the United States, they were like, oh yeah, we'll be able to do that. You'll have to email Kotobukiya in Japan. And of course I did that, and they were like, sorry, we can't ship it to you. So they did explain why. They just said that the amount that it would cost for shipping and all that is just not worth it for them. So that's unfortunate for us, but for people in Japan, I guess they can use that there. So you got that. Now it's interesting because this came out in, I want to say February or March, and I didn't get it until almost June. And the reason why was because I ordered mine through Kotobukiya in the United States, because that was the only way that I could really get it. This is almost, I consider this from Kotobukiya kind of like a P Bandai, so you have to buy it on the Kotobukiya site. And it seemed like it was a limited run, so it wasn't a lot. And it doesn't look like anything is gonna be crazy in here that I see. So, but yeah, so, you know, it took a little while to get it, and then I didn't hear anything back after it was the release date, and I had to email Kotobukiya in the United States, and they were like, oh, we haven't got those in yet. Now, at that time, I think it was in the middle of May, and it was released in March or April or something like that. And so I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden it arrived. So I can tell that I don't know if I'll be using kotobukiya in the United States again. I may just have to get it from a third party or something like that. But so that's what we've got for the manual. It doesn't look like anything super crazy, especially since I've built the original Great Exkizer before. I don't think that this will be anything hard to do. So that's what we've got for the manual. So we'll get this guy built up and we'll take a look at him next. So this is what Great Exkizer looks like all put together. It didn't take me that long. I'd say it took me maybe about 2-3 hours to put them all together. He does look really, really solid. I do like the gold that they have here for this guy. I think it looks really, really good. Electroplated kits have always looked nice to me. There are some drawbacks to it though. And so let's take a look at him real quick. So the drawbacks are always going to be like these little sprue parts here. And that's just where the sprue is connected to the actual piece. And unfortunately, there's not really any getting around having those. So unfortunately, a lot of times on these types of kits, you have all these spots here and here and here. Now, none of them are super noticeable, especially not at a distance. Maybe close up they are, but not really that bad. Usually in order to fix that, what you would want to do is take a gold Gundam marker and try to fill those in. Now, some people strip all of the chrome plating off and then repaint it, which to me just kind of seems, I don't know why you would do that. Why buy this kit if you're going to just strip all the paint off of it? But I understand it from an aesthetic standpoint, because you definitely want that to look really, really good. But I would say overall, since I didn't really fill in any of those holes, I wanted you guys to see what it would look like directly out of the box. For this kind of kit, you always usually want to have these undergated. When you have them undergated, you won't get these little sprue parts there. So other than that, he pretty much looks the same. He is a fingerprint magnet. That's why I actually have on the white gloves. And even with the white gloves, I can still see my fingerprints on them, even though it doesn't look that bad. But if you have a microfiber cleaning cloth, you can use that and wipe him down and he'll be fine altogether. But I would say overall, I still like the look. This is definitely a luxury. You have to be, I would say, a hardcore fan to kind of want this kind of plating on here. And there are companies that will chrome plate it for you, but I don't know how much they cost, and they're not in America that I've found thus far. Most of them are usually in Asia or Japan or something like that, and I'm sure they probably cost an arm and a leg to do. But you know, I have seen videos on them that they are available. So that's what he looks like all together. So now we'll get into accessories. So first we have the two Kaiser swords. So this is the Kaiser sword that is from King Exkizer. So you've got that, very well done. I actually may use this for my regular Great Exkizer, because I think that this chrome plate looks well, because that's how it looked in the show. So that's what you've got for that one. So you have the regular size of the Great Kaiser sword. So you've got that there. And then you have the elongated version, so you can do the Obari pose. So you have that version of it as well. So that looks spectacular. And then of course, you have Dragon Archery. So this was the finishing move for Dragon Kaiser. So he had two forms. So you had King Exkizer and Dragon Kaiser, and then Great Exkizer is the combination of the two of them. So you get this weapon. So usually it was actually these two weapons, he would actually cross these together, and then that would actually create the Great Kaiser sword. So that's what you have there. So that Dragon Archery looks really, really good. And then you have the main. So you have three sets of the main. So of course, this was the alternate main that we got in the Dino Geist in the regular colors. So you do get that here. So you do get those two. And then you get the separate main pieces. So you get 4 of these in total. So 2 for both sides. So you get both of those. And then you get the alternate faces that you got in the Dino Geist review as well. I've done that review on the channel. So you do get both of those. So this is the first one. This is the open mouth. version. This is pretty much, if you've seen the last episode of Exkizer, pretty much like his faceplate gets broken off, and so that's kind of like what this is supposed to simulate. He actually looks like King Exkizer here. So that's what you've got for there. And then you've got an alternate one as well. So you've got the other one, and that's the one that's just the normal looking one. So I actually left that one on the sprue because that's probably the one I'm gonna use the least. So I have the open mouth in there, but you can just take this one off and then put this one on. So that's what you have for those. And then you have two open hands. So you've got those there. And then you have the two sword hands. So you got these both for left and right. So you've got those, and then you've got two of the closed fists that he's got on him now. So that's what you have for hands. So that's pretty much what you have for accessories. So now I'm actually going to bring out the original Great Exkizer. We'll see what those look like standing side by side. So here we have Great Exkizer side by side with the golden version. And as you can see, it is the exact same kit. So there's not really much to talk about other than, the finish. The finish is pure gold versus the normal version. Now, it's interesting to see because there are a couple of details, like maybe like the green of the eyes of the lion, or could you have possibly done that for the gold version? I guess you probably could have. The thing about it was, in the show, he was pretty much pure gold. So even though that would have given it a little bit more contrast, and even with the weapons, they're exactly the same. So there's not really too much to go over for this, but just so you can see what they look like side by side. Now the thing about the gold version is that this one does have the swing hips that I had to buy Dino Geist in order to get for the original Great Exkizer. The thing about this one was that this was the first release of any of the Kotobukiya Brave kits. And so unfortunately, this one probably suffers the most from an articulation standpoint, and it suffers the most as far as, I just think like a lot of the current Kotobukiya ones are better. I think that even though this one looks really, really good, and the fact that this one, unlike Golderon and Jay Decker and all of that, we never got a King Exkizer in this line. We only got a Great Exkizer. So, this is interesting. Which one will I probably have this later? I'll probably still have the original one. This is more of a luxury thing. It's not really something that I would necessarily recommend everyone to buy unless you were just a super diehard Great Exkizer fan. Then I would say go ahead and get it, but it's probably gonna be a little bit hard to track down. So that's what we have for the comparison. The exact same height, pretty much the exact same weapons. There's not really any change. This has the updated hips, the gold version does, that you have to buy another figure in order, or another model in order to get with the original Great Exkizer. It has the same mane, all of that. Everything is the same. It's just that one is chrome plated, the other one is in his normal color. So that's what we have for that. So now let's get into final thoughts. So last thoughts on this guy. For me, this is a luxury piece. This isn't something that I would recommend to your average fan. This is for someone who really, really likes Great Exkizer or Exkizer the series. The gold, I think, is done really well. I don't really have any problem with it. I do wish it was undergated just so it didn't have those nub marks. Can I fix that? Yes, but I don't know actually if I'm going to take the time to do that. I may at a later date. But now that Kotobukiya has done this, there are a couple other Brave figures who turned gold in their series. Great Exkizer, of course, is one. Great Dagarn GX is another. Gal Gaigar is another with the Godian Hammer. And of course, Golderon. Golderon to me would probably be the only other one that I would probably buy that was solid gold like this. Unfortunately, it's a fingerprint magnet. It's not something, anytime you touch it, you're gonna have your fingerprints on there. So unless you have some gloves that don't leave any kind of fingerprints or anything, you're gonna have an issue with always cleaning this guy off. Just to do this review, once he was built, every time I tried to pose him or touch him in any way, I had to wipe off the fingerprints. So, you know, overall, I don't even know if I would really give this a score, as this is not really, I didn't really do anything with the articulation. The art, for those people who have already bought the Brave Great Exkizer from kotobukiya, it pretty much is exactly the same. I will say that the joints are just a tad bit tighter just because of the fact that they have this chrome plating on there. But other than that, it's exactly the same. It still has the same problems with the hand that the original had. The posing is okay, but not great. The hands, just to do this Obari pose that I have him in right now, it takes so long to position the arms and the hands in a specific way, and that the way that the hands will detach is really, really a pain. So if I was going to have him displayed, I'd probably have him displayed like this, and I probably would never take him out of this pose. So it's so iconic to Brave in general, but Exkizer in particular as well. So that's what I've got. That's what I have for you today. Thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.